Hello and welcome to Visit Fylde Coast. Apologies, we had a microphone malfunction at the beginning of this video. It's just the first little bit, so it's not too bad. And we're at Thornton Gate tram stop and we're off to Blackpool for a day out on the tram. So we're in Cleveleys now, and these are the shops at Talbot Road. So I'm going to get a 24-hour ticket and I'm off into Blackpool. So in this direction is the seafront, and then there to the right is Fleetwood. My lovely chariot arrives, and a 24-hour ticket gives you unlimited travel. You can get on and off as much as you like, which is why I wanted that ticket, so that I could just wander about at my will. There you go, there's the ticket, £6.60 I think it was. So we've arrived at Bispham, which is my first stop for the day, and I'm going to take you for a little look over the sea wall so that you can see the beautiful view as the tram disappears off up to Blackpool. And these are the tableaus as well on the cliffs here. So once we've crossed and you're looking over the edge of the sea wall, you get the beautiful high spot for the view. That's looking towards Cleveleys, and my first stop today is Bispham. Well, that was very interesting. You'll have seen that I've just been to Queen's Mansions, or you will see if you've got your notifications turned on, because that's another video for another day. And I'm back at the tram stop at Bispham, as it's called. And we're going to get on this tram when it... Oh no, I'm not. It's a driver in training one. I'm going to get on the tram. I'm going to walk to the next stop, I think. And then we're going to go to Blackpool. We're going to go and do our next leg of this journey today. And there goes my tram disappearing off into the distance. I have to say, it's a considerably brighter lunchtime in Blackpool than it was when I set off this morning. I've just been earwigging on a very interesting conversation. Oh goodness me, bloke sat in the double seats opposite, talking to a complete stranger and putting the world to rights. He was putting the world to rights. Ah, that's better. That's better. We can see the sea. What a lovely day. Makes you glad to be alive. Anyway, enough of this seaside nonsense. We are going to head round to the subject of our next video now. Oh, we've got a spectator, look. We've got little Polly Seagull sat waiting for some food. So we're doing our this week in video Blackpool. I'm having terrible trouble with my mouth today, aren't I? This week in Blackpool video in sections. Looks like they're doing some DIY work at Foreshores Hotel. And Talbot Road is the subject of our next video, but that's a separate one, which is why you need to be subscribed and have those notifications switched on. Because when we do this week in Blackpool, we intersperse it with bits of film that we find today, and then links to longer videos that I'm just wondering whether I'd get away with a crafty look through that window over there. I think we'll cross the road and then we'll go and see. Goodness me, this is the downstairs of the Clifton. This is what you don't see, you see, when you turn up on holiday. Foreshores Hotel, not the Clifton. I wonder if they've got a tenant. Lined up for it, because I think downstairs was a club, was it not? If you know the answer to that, pop a comment underneath. Shay Club seems to stick in my mind and ring a bell. Don't know whether that's right or not. I think you went in through that door, didn't you? Lovely building. Anyway, we're going to go and take a look around Talbot Road. So make sure that you've got those notifications turned on and you'll be able to watch that as a separate, longer video. And I'll join you at the other end of the town centre. Well, I've made it to the top of Talbot Road and the railway station and the new Holiday Inn, which is coming on at a pace. And I noticed that they've got the catenary wires back in at the entrance to the tramway extension. But if you've got your notifications turned on, I'm starting to sound like a parrot, aren't I? You'll get the alert for the Talbot Road walk through, and you can join me to have a look at that. So back to what's happening this week in Blackpool. Well, let's go and have a look, shall we? I knew they'd fenced off King Street because we commented about that some weeks ago, didn't we? Which is at the back of those white cabins straight in front of us. And that's because they're starting the groundworks on the new Department for Work and Pensions building. And it actually looks like they've got some clobber on site, so we'll go and have a nosy. We'll go and see what's going off. And of course last week's big news was the 40 million for the new multiversity. You might remember in September last year we went for a walk round the block here at George Street and Cookson Street, and we took a look at where the proposed site for the multiversity is. So it's going to go on this plot here, on this site here, and that will bring loads of students, staff and all the rest of it into the town centre. Just looking at the traffic lights, which is good because you need a community in a town. The days of everything being all dedicated to retail they're a bit old hat now, aren't they? You need dentists and officers and people that are doing other normal stuff. So I'm not quite sure what they're doing. I think I'm trying to make my mind up whether they're tidying up from the work that they've been doing on the old hot pub, which is now operational as the King Street Dental Surgery, or whether they're actually doing something new. But things are happening. So that'll be a big transformation when they start building that. That's going to look radically different. We'll walk round this way. Oh, now then, this I reckon that's where the fence is going to go. If I were a betting woman, I'd say that they're going to put a board up, either that or they're diverting a utility. Could be either. There's a whole language in trying to understand the markings that people put onto roads. You're not a bad one if you can work them out. Anyway, I'm going to go for my lunch next. So that's going to be a separate video. It's going to be Fish and Chip Friday. And I tell you something, I'm really hungry. And I'm not going to go to Yorkshire Fisheries despite being so near to the premises. I'm going to go to that other fine Topping Street establishment. I'm going to go to Tower Fisheries. And I'm going to go and get my lunch because it must be about 1:15, which is epically late for me. Very late for me it is. In fact, I tell you what, we'll go for a little diversion round Edward Street to the chip shop. And this is all the other way around to the way that I normally go, because I came on the tram. I've started today's looking round at Talbot Square, and normally I start at the other side of Blackpool, at the kind of central car park Hounsell end. So we're getting a bit of a different perspective on things today. So we're going to have a look around here because we along with the good news about the multiversity, we also got some bad news about the old post office, because there's been various grant applications hanging about for quite some time to see the conversion of the old post office into a luxury indigo hotel. And I've seen various people asking why a business that's so big would need grant funding in order to be able to build and convert a hotel. Oh, look, that's that fabulous, marvellous, magical street over. I'd love one of them for Cleveleys. So this is it. This is the back of the old post office. Well, I think you can see for yourself that it's a huge building and it's not in a very poppety state of repair. That's a good idea. See, they've put some nice graphics in these shop windows while they're empty, rather than just leaving them empty and looking closed. That's better, isn't it? Yeah, so you can see the state of it. I mean, dereliction is perhaps going a little bit too far, but it's not much removed actually from dereliction. And I know from experience that when you try to convert an old building, it's always a long, laborious, expensive process. And it costs a lot more to change an old building into something new than it would to build a new one from scratch. And I don't know for a fact, but I'm fairly confident in saying that that's why they're trying to get grant funding. Not necessarily to make the hotel bit, but to make the building suitable for use. Because, I mean, you've only got to look at that and you can see that it's a money pit. I mean, just even on those windows. It's a money pit. Good Lord. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. We'll keep our fingers crossed and we'll hope and pray that somewhere along the line somebody manages to find some money and they manage to convert it into the fine building that it could be. And we're back round at the market now. I keep looking longingly, don't I, waiting for something to happen. The lights are on. Let's see if there's anybody home. Let's have a look through this crack. I'm going to be getting a name for looking through gaps. Let's have a look, see what we can see. Oh, it's just picking the reflection up. Oh, that's a bit better. It still looks like a building site. I think they're going to need to get a leg on in there, aren't they? Very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Right, I'm going up here now. I'm going up here to the chippy. Yum, 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 yum. Anybody want a pub? Anybody want a pub to let? Business opportunity?
Right.
Hiya. I don't know who you were, but you obviously recognise me. Back to Stopping Street, that's another building like that antisocial one, look. It's very similar. I wonder what they all were originally. These shop fronts make a big difference though, don't they? Make a big difference, and Yorkshire Fisheries is just down there. But we're going this way, Chataway, we're going... I think it's down there. Yes, it is, it's this way, I think. Let's go see if we can find it. That's better now, I'm fed and watered. I've had my lunch at, it's got round here, look, the man with the marvellous Hoover. I've got my was I saying then? Oh, I've had my lunch at Tower Fisheries, which you'll get on the longer Fish and Chip Friday video. And if you remember last time we came into Blackpool, which was about a fortnight ago, they'd started looking at the renovation of this faience stonework. This looks like they're scratching their heads and looking at it and wondering what they need to do. That's the only problem with these old heritage buildings. You start doing one job and one job leads to another. Oh, I've come the wrong way. I've just realised I was going to go to Adelaide Street and I could have taken a shortcut, and instead I've taken you round the long way round. Never mind, we'll walk round here and walk round this corner. So we're going to go and look and see if they've done anything at King Street yet, because they are demolishing the old registry office building. I'm just trying to think of the word then. If you remember last time we were in Blackpool, we were looking in this shoe market building, and I don't think it was so much the fact that he didn't want me to film them. I wondered whether it was perhaps more to do with who was doing the conversion and whether or not there should have been. Yeah, so it was a beautiful hot day in, probably about September, when we were looking at the old registry office site on King Street. It was an absolutely red hot, gorgeous day. I can remember it like yesterday. And they'd just put the notice out that the council had bought it, and the council were going to demolish it. It is a council building, because it's surplus to requirements now. They no longer need it for their functions because, of course, the registry office is moved to Festival House on the promenade. So they're amending that. They're going to use it as a temporary car park. Oh, I'm tripping up over the potholes in the pavement. They're going to use it as a temporary car park, and then they're going to bank it for a piece of development land. Hounsell's cracking on at a pace. The gold cladding's not come round the front yet, but I won't imagine it'll be very long before it does, looking at it. I'll rejoin you round at Adelaide Street. See what I mean about walking the long way around? This is where I was, and I could have just walked down here. And I've gone all the way around. I just wanted to show you this. You might remember that this was the site of the Comrades Club back in the day. And did you also know the Comrades Club was started by Lord Stanley in 19 blob. I think it was 1917, something like that, a long, long time ago. And it was one of the 4 groups that became the Royal British Legion. And this guy with the marvellous magical no, he's following me, I reckon. I'd love one of them for Cleveleys. Just imagine how clean we could keep it. Just imagine. And it had been on fire, going back to the Comrades, it had been on fire. It had a really bad do. And they ended up demolishing it after that. And they used it as a works compound, as a site for the storing the materials for the new Winter Gardens Conference Centre, which is this one. And don't forget they're building a new hotel here. So if I were a betting woman, I'd say that it will become a site once again. And they will use it for building materials, because it's a very tight pending corner. There's a lot of properties around it, so building anything in a site like that must be a nightmare. I've said that before, but you can only imagine, can't you? So this is the registry office at King Street, which is now covered in scaffolding, and there's a man sat on the roof. I wonder if... Oh, listen, I can hear... Hark, I hear tiles coming off. Can you remember back in the 70s? Demolition. Have a heart. Can you remember back in the 70s when they used to knock buildings down with those big wrecking balls? And they had a big chain hung on a digger with a big steel ball on the end, and they used to swing them at buildings to flatten them. They obviously don't use them any longer, do they? They used to fascinate me as a kid. I used to find them really, really interesting. So this is coming down. It's going to be a temporary car park, which will be really useful because there's loads of... This is Chandler Road, this next one, which is a big holiday street. There's loads of holiday accommodation around here. This is Talbot Road, so this is all hotels down here. And all these people that come on holiday all need somewhere to park, don't they? Let's take a little stroll over here and see if we can see what they're doing to the roof. Oh, off it comes. It looks like they're collecting tiles for scrap. I think they've just clocked me. They just realised that they're on candid camera. So give it a couple of weeks when the guys have managed to get all the building down, and Blackpool Council Children's Services will be no longer. All the council services relocated to Bickerstaff House. Oh God, there's another guy up there, look. What on earth are they doing? Two chaps stood on a roof. And don't get me up there at no price. Can you imagine me stood up there? It's so near to the edge, I'd be jumping off. I would. I'd be throwing myself off. So it's hard to believe that this is all going to come to life. Yeah, I was saying, wasn't I? The staff that used to, Blackpool Council staff that used to work in that office, have relocated to Bickerstaff, where we started out today. And you now get married on Blackpool seafront at the registry office. I tell you something, it's dropping cool. It's not been warm all day, but I'm starting to feel the chill. I've upgraded and I've put my hat on. Hip 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 hooray. Give it another month and these will all be open for February half term, and it'll all be coming back to life and the sun's shining. You're not able to get a parking space, no love no money, and the hotels will be full, it'll be busy and everything. So as we walk to the bottom of Talbot Road, down here, oh, it's like something happening in there, look, they've got the carpets up, they're all doing the renovation and the decorating and the building work and everything that they can't do when they're trading. Down here is the new job centre, which occupied the Argos store. And I noticed next to it, they've got some other workmen in one of the next units. Speaking of workmen, I've just stopped at the traffic lights to cross Coronation Street near the Hounslow Works, and I've just noticed this is all boarded up. Not before time, I might add. Wonder what they're going to do to that, because it is in desperate need of it, isn't it? Wonder what that's going to be. Oh, dust, plaster and building work is what that smells like. Oh, let's have a look through this way. That's a big shop. Goodness. It's in dire need of something doing to it. In fact, it smells like it's been on fire. Anyway, it's this one down here, pound stretchers, next to the job centre. That's where we're going next. That's a disappointment. They've just boarded pound stretchers up. I thought they were doing something interesting. Let's go and have a look through the door and see if there's any evidence of any work inside. Look at this wood. That's a lovely bit of ply, that. Ooh, builders. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe they are actually doing something. Oh, fitters. Fitters. Let's ask him what they're doing. Here's another guy cleaning up. I tell you, there's work going on all over the place. Anyway, that turned out to be not exciting. They're putting a burglar alarm in and cameras and securing it and getting it ready. It's out for lease and it's waiting for a new landlord. So that was totally not exciting at all. So we're going to go around this way now, back down to the seafront. And I'm going to go via the loo in Coral Island because I am gasping. Gasping I am. And you can see the new car park over there. Goodness, that's cracking on at a pace. You've only got to come back one day after another and it looks totally different. Ooh. And of course, Palmer Cafeteria on the left was the location for another one of our fish and chip Fridays. A lot of these places to eat and chippies and things that are in the areas that are not sort of in the middle of houses, that are in the seaside place areas, they close out of season. But they'll be open again soon. Yes, it is knocking on. Goodness, that looks different. The last bits are disappearing. And all the mucky grot. All the mucky grot that's been trapped underneath the framework. Right, I'm now going to go. We've not finished with this week in Blackpool. I'm now going to go to South Shore. I'm going to use my 24-hour tram pass. And I'm going to get back on the tram again. And I'm going to go down to South Shore, and I've got some more longer videos to make that. I wonder when these guys are moving. I was going to take a call to the other new one up at the other end of the promenade in the old Woolworths building, but we've walked way round in a loop, and you can see Odyssey still twinkling away. Just in sections currently. I would imagine. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether they're taking them down or leaving them up. Do you know? Pop a comment below if you do. Safe by the bus. Not bad for timing. Safe by the bus. So we're just going to turn around and say, when's the next tram? And lo, there it is. I wonder if I could catch it if I ran really quickly. I don't know whether I've got that much of a run in me. That's a no then. What a shame. Oh well, it looks like we're off to our next destination on Shanks's Pony. I thought we were going to catch a tram from Central Pier. Never mind. It does tell you on the tram stops what time the trams are. So Monday to Friday we're at Central Pier. So they're at 10 to and then every 15 minutes. I have no idea what time it is. I have no idea what time the next one's due. So we'll just set off walking, I think. We're going to have a walk via Central Pier, which looks very quiet and very closed right now. Looks like we're having a tidy up at Central Pier. They're putting all the bits of scrap on the back of this lorry. I would imagine that's the remnants of some ride or other that they've dismantled. Something, isn't it? Do you know what it is? Pop a comment underneath if you do. I'm going to walk now I've missed my tram. I'm going to walk and see how far we get. We're off in that direction. Looking for our next topic. Does this not look strange? I like Blackpool later season. It's definitely not closed. When it's weekends, I mean, don't forget everybody's at work and at school. And when it's weekends and it's busy and it's sunny, it looks fair lovely, it does. And you can enjoy all this lovely weather. And there we are, back where we started. Back at Thornton Gate in the great metropolis of Cleveleys. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's look at what's happening in Blackpool. And I'm going to go home now and have my tea. I'm going to go home and get warm, have my tea and have a nice brew. So don't forget, make sure that you've subscribed, make sure that you've hit the little bell for notifications, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.